What's going on, guys? It's Turin here, and today, guys, I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this game, it looks like we're going to be facing off against the Greenskins, so who do we want to play? I know the Warriors of Chaos are always a pretty fun matchup for those guys. We could go with those guys. Let's see, do we want to play New Bretonnia? Let's play New Bretonnia. That's always a good time. So, as far as our leadership goes, we could go with King Lewin, but I think we're going to go with the Fey Enchantress. We're going to put her on her trusty unicorn here. We probably will get regrowth, because again, we're going to pick the Green Knight, who I really, really like here. He's very, very good for sniping out the Greenskin casters. And again, Greenskin do struggle with ethereal units in general, so it's a pretty good pick. So as far as our infantry corps, we're going to kind of get a hybrid build between battle pilgrims and foot squires. They usually cover all your bases. You have the tank and spank. Granted, they both spank, so it's not a bad situation at all. We're going to get two of these men-at-arms with pole arms over here. And then on top of that, let's go ahead and get some spearmen at arms in the back line to help defend our missiles. And we probably want to get some poison arrows, which are pretty decent in general. The poison debuff is quite strong. If you guys look, negative 22% weapon damage, speed, missile damage, it like mitigates a ton of things. So very, very good stuff there. On top of that, we're going to get some Royal Pegasus Knights, and I kind of want to have a little bit of fun, but man, I'm spread so thin here. I could cut like one of these foot squires, but that would really cut into my infantry corps, and against like a big army of Savage Orcs, you really, really want to, obviously have a pretty strong infantry corps, because Savage Orcs can, bang with battle pilgrims pretty easily, and then they can also beat foot squires head up. So you really need a pretty strong front line here. So let's see. I would like to get some Royal Hippogriff Knights just for fun, but I think the Green Knight is just too expensive to allow for other things. So we'll go ahead and, yeah, we can't quite afford the Chalice, which is fine. It's okay. It's not like game breaking or anything like that. So maybe we just get like a peasant mob in the back or something. I don't know. Like part of me wants to just chevron things rather than like get a peasant mob, right? So let's go ahead and do this here like that. That should be fine. And what's nice about the Fey Enchantress is she's so dirt cheap if you like really tone her down. Actually, oh no, we do need to get that regrowth ability. What am I doing? Almost forgot that ability is very, very important here. So we can't quite afford it. So it's 202 actually. So let's see, what do we want to cut? So let's cut a Spearman at Arms for now, which will allow us to get our regrowth, which is good. And then we have 200 left. So you know what? Let's just get some peasant mobs. Who cares? We'll just use them in the back, and if like orc boars like come charging in or something, at least we can intercept them. So the Royal Pegasus Knights, again, very good against Greenskins, good for taking out lords, good for dealing with the Arachnarch Queen. You have a lot of good options there. So let's get this trainer rolling, guys, and let's have some fun. Yeah, Green Knight's great though. He's probably one of the best tools I think that new Bretonnia. I keep calling him that. It's just Bretonnia now, guys. That Bretonnia has against the Greenskins, because he's so incredibly hard to kill. Warzog is the best answer to him. Effigy of Deget, when you use it on him, it hits him really hard actually. Like I've had a few matches where a Greenskin player used Effigy of Deget, locks him down, and then just punishes him with like a bunch of orc boars, and they can actually kill him really quick if you let him get isolated, which is easy to do because again you're going to think he's pretty impervious, but he's really not against Effigy of Deget. So just something to kind of take note of, guys. Definitely be careful with him. But if you can get around FG and he doesn't get targeted with it, it's going to take like 45 minutes to kill him. Kind of like how it was with the ethereal dwarf lords from Clan Angrid. I remembered back before, like when squigs were a thing, when people would just like mass squigs against dwarves. Like I think they actually nerfed squigs. They made some like mechanical changes to the way they worked. They're not quite as strong as they were on launch, but yeah, like the dwarf players were getting so desperate they would just like spam the 3 ghost lords and just last stand it and win. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it's a pretty good map for me, I guess, if I wanted to. Although this probably benefits the Greenskins because they can do all kinds of funny business in the woods. They can have Vanguard Wolf Riders. I wonder how the peasant mob would fare against Goblin Wolf Riders. I feel like they would do a pretty good job of like fending them off, right? I mean, they would probably still rout because their leadership is like nothing. Although Goblin Wolf Riders too, though. I don't know. The peasants have pretty pitiful combat stats. They got their rakes and pitchforks and hoes and all that kind of good stuff. So hopefully it's not a laggy game for you guys. Definitely want to bring you guys some high quality live games here. It's one of the downsides, the Total War, loading, and a lot of people do play with potatoes, guys. It's just a fact of life. You can't knock them for it, You can't knock them for it. I mean, I would probably do the same thing, You just want to play, Yeah, we got to be inclusive here, guys. So, all right, cool. So for our front line, we're going to put these bad boys like so, which pretty diverse front line, but we're going to go a little bit tight here just to kind of make sure the Grail Reliquary is hitting everyone, because that 16 leadership is a really, really big deal. So on top of that, the Fey Enchantress, she's usually going to sit in the front line as well. We're going to get our Pox arrows over here. We really want to defend them like pretty effectively here. So let's go ahead and just put these filthy peasants in the back line, and that's one way to defend your back line, right? Just kind of smatter it with peasants. What's their leadership actually? 36. Oof. They could probably fend off Goblin Wolf Riders for a moment at least, right? So we'll go ahead and put the spears in the sides, which should be fine. And we'll also put a group of foot squires back here, just in like auxiliary. And we actually do have men at arms, so maybe these guys should be like right here, maybe. And then the spearmen, the the spears should be in the back defending the archers against Cav. That's probably the wiser choice there. So we're going to go ahead and get Green Knight. We're going to go ahead and get the Pegasus homies over here. We'll just deploy over here because, again, it's more of a straight path through. And, yeah, let's have some fun. So good luck to my opponent. Oh, man, he's got... Oh, I thought it was 1337, but no, it's 1339, unfortunately. So not that cool. But Pegasus Knights are really good. Like, even if you use them defensively, like, I could just sit and see where he engages the boars, and then you jump them. So they don't get the charge on you, and you can just shred them with that 61 weapon strength and an anti-large bonus of... Let's go ahead and zoom in and see if we can find that for you guys. What is it? Come on. Come on. Give me the sugar. 12, which is pretty darn good. So he does have the Meiji Marauders here, which I don't like at all against Bretonnia. They're pretty quick. I mean, they have 92 speed, but the Pegasus Knights have 105. You can actually catch them. They don't have poison, so... and on that same coin, though, like, the Peasant Bowmen can outrange them and just keep them away. They literally, like, do nothing versus you. So we're going to kind of keep these guys back and just kind of advance on my opponent, try and see where he is. His army's pretty big. So I'm expecting a ton of Savage Orcs with Wurzog. I mean, that's kind of been the meta lately, is a lot of people are bringing that. You don't see too many of the other lords anymore, like Orc Warboss and stuff. Wurzog's FGF to get is just so good. And he, like, covers your bases in terms of, like, Shaman. So that's quite nice as well. So he's going to come in here. What's the range on these guys? So 100 compared to the, 160. So, I mean, if he comes in, he's just going to take... He might, like, try and bait me in. A lot of people will come in and, like, bait ammunition out of you, which is pretty decent little tactic there. But let's go ahead and see if we can get a freebie here, because if we're able to actually poison them, like, then our Pegasus Knights can just, like, run in and just absolutely, like, trap them down. So they're going to take some fire there, which is pretty good. So they're actually poisoned right now, so their speed's pretty slow, but we'll go ahead and send the Pegasus Knights, see if we can kind of catch them. Doesn't look like we're going to get another free volley, but when these guys get a good charge, and what does he have? So the Broken Tusk Mob, so he's probably going to run to those guys right now, but the Pegasus Knights are just hot in pursuit right now. They got a massive hard-on for these guys. But you can see my opponent, very well played. You know, he kites back, and he's got the 3 groups of Savage Orc Biggins there. Are those Savage Orc Biggins? Yeah, Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. So they have the armor piercing. They also have the physical resist, which is pretty cool. So we're going to keep going here. We should be using the Green Knight to scout. That was a bit of a blunder that I've kind of made henceforth. But these peasants, if he does come in range again, we're just going to kind of shoot and just, keep zoning him. I don't mind using a little bit of ammunition here. And it looks like he's going to kite back, but we might get him with a few arrows. Look how inaccurate those guys are. That's pretty hilarious. So Green Knight, we're just going to kind of charge him up, just see what's going on in the forest, try and figure out where my opponent is. I mean, he could, for all I know, be like right here and just collapse on my side. So what we'll probably do is like deploy like this and just kind of sit and hang tight, and we'll get our Pegasus Knights, and let's go scouting. We've been playing too apprehensively. We need to get in there and kind of see what's going on. So we get the Green Knight in the forest, and he actually, I think he does regenerate when he's in the forest, right? So that's pretty good. But he's getting some good damage with the Meiji Marauders kind of harassing me a little bit, and we're able to find his goodies. And as I suspected, he was kind of deploying on my side, trying to bait me over here, and then he was probably going to jump me. So let's go ahead and kind of square up here against my opponent, which should be good. The Green Knight, we want to see what he has while we have him here. So let's go ahead and send Green Knight up and around and kind of just see if we can find his caster. So he has a Night Goblin Shaman. It's nice that we found him already, so that's really good. So maybe he doesn't have Wurzog, actually. So we're going to kind of ride over yonder like so, kind of square up here, get ready to party, and yeah, let's have these guys start shooting here and kind of trading with those guys. And he's chasing me with a bunch of the boys, which is good. So let's go ahead and just kind of pull these guys here and just get ready to engage, really. Yeah, so the Green Knight, we just want to be really, really obnoxious and just give my opponent a huge headache. And you can see I got the moves like Jagger in here, guys. I'm just going ham. So he's about to engage in the front line, which is good. It looks like he has kind of pulled back, so we're going to start shooting into the Savage Orcs here, which will be fine. Let's go ahead and get our front line engaged like so. And we do miss the charge a little bit there against some of the Warlords boys, but that's okay. No big problem, guys. So the Green Knight, this is perfect. This is like exactly what you want when people allocate like a ton of resources to the Green Knight. It's a dream come true. Because and let's see where he's overloading. It looks like he's going pretty hard. So what we want to do right now is use a big heal. We probably want to use it like, yeah, right there is going to be pretty good because we're taking some good damage on that side flank here. So we're going to see if we can intercept these guys really quick, get a freebie. But the Green Knight is just like tanking like, a ton of resources worth of units. So we're going to pull the Pegasus Knights back. We don't want to like kind of get too aggressive with them. Just keep these guys kind of shooting at some of these squishies here. Just kind of feel things out. And it looks like, who does he have here? He might have a Grimgore Ironhide, is it? Oh, he actually has Skarsnik, so very, very cool. So let's get the Grail Reliquary up there fighting. Just use these guys defensively. And the Peasant Mobs, let's go ahead and just send them in to have a little bit more unit density to match the Greenskins. And we're going to keep our spears and be pretty conservative with those guys. So let's go ahead and shoot these guys out at the Meiji Marauders, keep these guys in the back, and we could use a regrowth. Probably want to use it on these guys. They're taking a beating for sure, so hopefully they'll stand and fight a little bit longer if I heal them up. And let's go ahead and send these guys in as well. I don't think we have like the time to kind of sit back because his front line is very big and it's very savage. So So yeah, the Royal Pegasus Knights are kind of just sitting back. We're getting some good trading back here. The Green Knight obviously taking like no damage, and you know there's like several groups of infantry on him, which is I think is a pretty solid situation for me. So he does have some the Goblin Wolf Riders over here, so we're going to kind of form up our battle line here. And this is what the Royal Pegasus Knights are like for. You just use them to kind of clean up and you know be defensive, obviously. So we'll keep trading here, and these Pegasus Knights are literally just going to put these guys in like a trash can, like so horribly. So we need to use healing. We're taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, this is actually a nice spot. We can get like our entire front line there. So the Royal Pegasus Knights get in there with their anti-large bonus. They're able to kind of shred those guys. Let's just these guys switched onto some of those orc boars, and we do have our spears in position. Our front lines is holding. It's a little bit dicey over here. We're definitely having some problems, but the Green Knight back here just continuing to pimp it and do his thing, having a good time. And yeah, so we're trading well. The Royal Pegasus Knights are able to kind of collapse on those guys. So let's go after the Broken Tusk Mob now and see if we can kind of catch them out. And this line here isn't going to hold much longer. So we're going to send some spears in to try and hold it just a little bit longer. And he does kind of sneak past us there, which is fine. So right now we just use the Royal Pegasus Knights and collapse with these guys. So right now, this is where we get the fancy business going on. And yeah, those Broken Tusk Mob there is going to get canned pretty hard because now they're going to get sandwiched by spears and by the Royal Pegasus Knights. So we're going to kind of reform our missile ranks and pull them over here, pull the spears over here to protect as well. And the Green Knight, you can see he's still occupying like a lot of units. It's very easy to get like caught up on those. So let's go ahead and get these guys over here because this whole line's going to collapse. So we need to reform our ranks here. So let's go ahead and have these guys start shooting here, have this spear line kind of reform right here. And the Royal Pegasus Knights, we want to finish these guys off to the best of our abilities. So we still do have a pretty healthy pocket here, so let's go ahead and cast one of our last heals here, which should be pretty good. And in the back, the Green Knight he's still kind of trapped up, so we're going to try and get him up and around and have him like come back to the front line. And yeah, so we got our peasants back here. They're trading with the Mangy Marauders pretty well, so we're going to reform ranks there. Our Royal Pegasus Knights, we want to get them up in the air. We don't want them sitting in sustained combat at all. That's like worst case scenario. And it looks like a lot of troops are pushing through, which is really tough. So let's go ahead and get the Fey Enchantress back. We don't want her, you know, getting her salad tossed or anything. Let's get these peasant mobs coming over here, and you know they'll re-engage right here, which is fine. So we're going to re-engage versus this Goblin Big Boss, and we do have these missiles, so we'll start shooting into the crowds here. And let's go ahead and get these guys shooting here. And the Royal Pegasus Knights, if he does come through here, this is exactly what they're for, is to intercept these type of units. So we're going to go ahead and look for his casters or his leadership and go after Skarsnik right now. I think that'll be a good choice for the Green Knight. We're going to go ahead and use this and just kind of keep fighting here. But unfortunately, the Savage Orcs are going to tear us up pretty quickly. But we're getting some good missile fire, to say the least, and we do have some troops coming back from route. Our front line over here is holding it pretty well, and hopefully Green Knight can start causing some like terror issues for my opponent. So let's go ahead and pull back here and see if we can get like a bit of a tactical retreat. But man, those foot squires are putting up a good fight. This is a pretty intense fight. Like, this is really good. It's just back and forth, but you guys see what I'm saying about using those Pegasus Knights defensively? You don't want to like leave them in sustained combat. And that tactical retreat, once our flanks collapsed, was really, you know, I think that really helped us out in this situation. So great. So the Pegasus Knights and the guys are doing their thing. We do have the Green Knight going after Skarsnik now, which is really good. So if Skarsnik like opens himself up, let's get these Pegasus Knights again and just use them to intercept these Savage Orc Boars. We'll pull these guys over here to intercept them, and just hopefully we can gun down these. Oh, those are the Warlords boys actually. So they're not gonna go quietly into the night. So we're gonna use the Fey Enchantress and pull her back here, get her up and around. We'll get these guys back. Just kind of any troops we can get back, we need to. It's gonna be very important here. So let's go ahead and get these Pegasus Knights going after these guys here. And yeah, pretty wild fight. So men-at-arms with polearms are fighting. Let's go ahead and get them shooting at the boars as well to help out and get these guys up here fighting as well. Get these peasants engaged. And yeah, the Green Knight doing a very good job of hunting Skarsnik. So what we'll probably do is save up our Winds of Magic, and let's go ahead and yeah, we're taking some big casualties on these Pegasus Knights, but I think it's worth it because the Savage Orcs are an expensive unit, and you know we're able to push them off here. So we're able to re-secure our peasant back line, which is really important here. So let's go ahead and get these guys and start going after this Goblin Big Boss. We'll get the Fey Enchantress as well, and let's kind of continue to just do tactical retreats and just draw this battle out. So we have this guy here, and again, if Skarsnik goes down, my opponent's army is really going to suffer, and he doesn't have like. He does have a Night Goblin Shaman. Skarsnik hits hard, but, you know, again, we are going to save up for a regrowth for that guy. So let's go ahead and use the Favor of the Fae here. Get these guys starting to shoot at some of these Savage Orcs, and these guys can go ahead here, and these guys come back here. And good. So right now, yeah, it's a little bit of a dicey situation, though. He's really aggressively going after the Fey Enchantress, so we need to be on top of running and kiting. As far as our frontline troops go, we do have some men-at-arms with polearms who are re-engaging here, which is really nice. So honestly, we probably need to just pull these guys back into the front line. I think we just need to keep the Fey Mortis engine online, draining like all of these troops. That's going to be really important here. So, and it looks like I was able to kill Skarsnik, which is really good. So now we're going to go after this this Night Goblin Shaman, I think. So let's actually pull him. Actually, he's probably going to be best suited in the main fight at this point. I think we really need him here because we can use the Earthblood, which will heal him very effectively, and we can just start sniping out the Goblin Big Bosses. But a nice debuff for my opponent. So let's go ahead and start shooting at some of these Savage Orcs. we're going to start running a little dry on ammunition. Man, what a great fight. This is a really good game. So let's go ahead and get the Grail Reliquae coming here. But I don't know if he has enough to deal with the Fey Mortis engine. And now that Green Knight's back in action, that's going to be a whole new element for sure. So, man, he did get kind of trapped up here, though, which is unfortunate. But he is going to probably terror out some of these Night Goblins. So let's go ahead and get this guy back. And the Fey Enchantress is able to beat that Goblin Big Boss, which is quite nice. So let's go ahead and get the Fey Enchantress here. Let's go ahead and use Regrowth on the Green Knight because, again, he's going to be very, very difficult to kill for my opponent considering what he has left. So we'll get these guys back here, get these guys back here, get these guys here, and yeah, I think that's... Oh, we do have the Pegasus Knights back, which is really, really good right now. So let's pull those guys back and kind of just feel everything out. It looks like most of what my opponent does have left is going to start crumbling. And yeah, it looks like we're able to shatter that Goblin Big Boss. So yeah, GG. Man, that was a super good game. Very close, very competitive. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I think it's over. Like, yeah, the balance of power is 100% in my favor, but he has something that's unbreakable. The Warlords boys, I think, maybe? Yeah, hopefully he doesn't just like run with them and, you know, troll me. I mean, that could easily happen. I would just have to like fan out and start like looking everywhere, but no. Looks like that's all she wrote. So well played, man. The Green Knight, just an absolute boss this game. You guys saw he was able to like distract a lot of troops in the back line, and on top of that, he was really good for assassinating a lot of my opponent's stuff. So, and the Pegasus Knights, when used defensively, were super good. Like they were just MVPs. Like they just sat back there, they skewered the cav as they came in, they dealt with the Moon Howlers. They're just fast, they're efficient, just super solid. And having a very diversified line in terms of foot squires and battle pilgrims, I think is huge. And the peasants actually were helpful, like for kind of plugging up those flanks and allowing me to do tactical retreats. So pretty cool stuff all around, guys. But the Savage Orcs do beat foot squires one-on-one, especially with chevrons. So having the battle pilgrims to, you know, trade a little bit with them with their kind of high weapon damage and, you know, is pretty good. And also the battle pilgrims did pretty good against the Night Goblins, and I think it was nice to diversify my infantry like that. So again, well played, Mr. B. Look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that cast. Have an excellent night and take care.